Hey everybody, Matt here from Pyramind, back with another breakdown session. Thank you, Internet. You've all been receiving these very, very kindly, inspiring me to keep doing them, doing more for you. So, today, what are we going to do? We are going to take a look at a little known song, not terribly popular, Martin Garrix, In the Name of Love. So, what are we going to do today? You might listen to this song and say, well, Matt, there's not that much crazy chord work going on. What are you going to do with this here piano? So we're not really going to take a look at the chords that much. There's one thing going on there that's pretty interesting that I think is cool to take a look at. But for the most part, we're going to zoom out and take a look at the song as a whole and take a look at the arrangement. And we're also going to take a look at the vocal because this vocal is insane. And let me tell you, there is no plugin that you can get or buy or can be made that substitutes what she's bringing to the table. It's all power, okay? All power, all pure emotion, pure energy. She's just letting it out, and there's nothing you can do to replicate that except hire her. Now, since we don't have access to her and we don't have access to her quality of talent all the time, what can we do? Well, what can we take from her? What can we learn from her and this vocal? And I think one of the things that we can learn most is patterns. I've been talking about patterns for I don't know how many years at this point. And concept of patterns manifests all throughout music, all throughout life, but certainly all throughout music. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at note-by-note patterns in this vocal because there is something very, very simple to take from this and apply to when you're writing melodies, okay? The first thing we'll look at with respect to the pattern is, first of all, we have to figure out what key we're in, what we're doing, and where the song is. So let's establish our ground rules first. Let's take a look at the vocals second. So I'm going to jump over to Logic here, got the piano handy. The song is in the key of E minor. Okay, so that's E Aeolian minor. It's here in E minor. Now, immediately as I play this chord, you'll see a couple of things. Number one, low note. Could be bass down here, but a note below it supporting the root of the chord. But you'll notice in the right hand, most people would look at that and say, how'd you get E minor out of that? And the answer is, oh, that's E minor. That's the one I know. What the hell is this? Okay, so what this is E minor second inversion, which is E, G, B. All we did was take the B and put it down below. Say, that B, this B, that B, that B. Still, E minor. We can have a separate conversation at some point about why you might choose which inversion. Suffice to say that in this case, Martin Garrix is playing C major, second inversion, E minor, second inversion, D major, don't forget that F sharp. So this is really the chord progression, right? And that's it. That's the foundation of the song. That pattern pretty much repeats throughout the whole song. It's not terribly complex, doesn't need to be. Her power and her vocal carries the rest of the song, and his production is very distinct between what's verse and what's chorus, and I think that that disparity between what's very acoustic and organic and what's very electronic in the choruses, that dynamic between them is really, really stark and carries the song through. So suffice to say, E minor starts with C major and then D major. Three chords, they represent the 1, flat 7, flat 6 of Aeolian. That's where we're at. Now her vocal, that should sound pretty familiar to those of you who know the song. Patterns. One of the things her vocal is doing is this sort of up, down. Okay, it's very common for vocals to do up, down. The other thing that she's doing a lot of is she's hammering 1, 2, 3. You can almost throw away the I can't stress enough that when you're writing melodies, leveraging the simplest patterns of just the 1, 2, and the 3 notes always works. Okay? Now it's a little confusing to the ear because the first chord is not E. That's not what's really happening here. What's happening is that the first chord is actually C, and then she's playing her E minor melody on top. And then D major. Okay, that's the general gist of her melody and its relationship to the chords. Again, the secret here is the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, that's a super, super strong part of the melody there. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 again. I cannot stress enough that the power of just using 1, 2, 3 in any scale, this one happens to be minor, but what if it's major? It's right, the 1, 2, 3 always works. You can't just do 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Eventually we get bored. Our brains like to do this game where we try to predict what's going to happen and we try to guess. Do I recognize what's happening? Yes. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, there it is again. I got it. Third time? Yes. Aha, I know your pattern. Fourth time? Really? Fifth? Sixth? Skip. You usually get 1, 2, maybe 3 times you can repeat a pattern before people get bored and you need to shift it up. And that's exactly what happens here. So the pattern, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 7, 5. And if you look at that whole thing as pattern number 1, right? One more time. Now, here's the third time when you expect it to happen, and then she finally says, haha, no. She's gonna now go up. Notice the rhythm didn't change at all. So it's 3 times of the rhythmic pattern, da 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 da, ba be ba be ba ba ba. First time and second time it's 1, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, 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 down. And then up, 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 up. Down, up, up, down, 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 down. But the rhythm never changes. So it's about establishing a pattern that's both melodic and rhythmic, playing it, establishing it, and then varying it, but not all of it. We keep the rhythm, change the notes. And then at the fourth one, where you might expect her to go back to the first stanza or even repeat the second stanza, she's like, no, I fooled you once, I'm gonna fool you twice. So she moves down at the bottom. And something interesting, I don't know if anybody else caught onto this, and maybe I'm stretching here, but lyrically, most of the words are pretty dark and despondent until the very end when it's in the name of love. And in the name of love, she's playing the lowest notes and the softest notes, and everything else is awful and tragic and horrible and nasty. And then in the name of love, it's really soft and sweet and intimate and down low. And I'm having fun with it. But what's really happening is that I believe that she's using the minor intensity of the pattern moving up to marry to the intensity of the words. And then when she comes down to the soft notes, it's down to the soft words. So there's kind of a one-to-one relationship between the lyrics and the notes, okay? And more than that, even the intensity of the notes. So again, the pattern. Repeat. That's the pattern. It's beautiful, it's awesome. What do we take from it? We take from leverage the power of the 1, 2, 3. Okay. Leverage the sing-songiness of up and down, fluid up and down. Every note is almost sequential to the note before it or after it in the scale. So she's really just kind of moving snake-like through the scale, up and then down, and then back up and kind of up way over here. And so she's really just kind of playing the scale vocally. It's very smooth, very absorbable, very distinct, and very memorizable. She's also changing the pattern. 3 varieties with 1 rhythm, 1 variety different rhythmically. 2 varieties with 1 melodic pattern, then another pattern, then another pattern. Okay, so she's got what's predictable and what's surprising, all within the same pattern. Very, very cool. Number 2, if we look at that pattern and zoom out through the whole song goes through what effectively amounts to a pop format. And a lot of people coming to me asking questions, my arrangement's not cool. What do I do about my arrangement? Maybe I should just do what everybody else does. And my answer is, well, if it's appropriate to do what everybody else does, then that's what you do. Pop says intro, verse, chorus, sometimes refrain, and then chorus. And it's arguable what the chorus is here. That's what's kind of interesting about this. So we start with the intro, and then 4, 3, 2, 1.
If I told you
here's your verse.
This was only gonna hurt.
Now, after this section, we have her doing.
Even when you're blind, would you call love in the name
What is
of
this? I'm going to go ahead and call it the chorus, because she sings the name of the title of the song, and she sings it a couple times, and then afterwards you have an instrumental refrain, back to the verse, back to the chorus, back to the instrumental refrain, move to a bridge. We'll talk about the bridge in a second too, because she's doing something with her vocal in the bridge to also create variety. Remember, there's variety in the main vocal. The chorus is different from the verse. There's variety. And then if we look at the bridge, when we get to the section where it's later, what is the chord? It's this chord. Now what's happening here, this section, I'm describing this section as the bridge. The left hand is doing the same thing as it ever did. So while that pattern is continuing in the left hand, the right hand here over the C major is doing. Now what is this? And then what is that? And the truth is, they are nothing more than an inversion of G major. Now, why is that important to us? Why do we care? A, because it's a bridge, and a bridge should be something different. Everything else has been straight E minor. Now in the bridge, we have an opportunity to do something different. So when we do something different, what do? Well, she's done what just about everybody else has been doing, and I've been talking about for video after video after video, which is she's going to a relative mode. The key of E minor is, let's call it Aeolian, because it's natural minor, which means that its relative major is, right, if you said G, you win a prize. And the prize is you understand relative major and relative minor. Congratulations. E minor is the same as G major. I'll play it down here. Don't forget that F sharp. Remember I said earlier, don't forget that F sharp. There it is again. So the notes of G major, exactly the same as the notes of E minor. And here in the bridge, she's moving to the relative major. Again, I think I know what's up. I expect this again. No, you get this instead. Just a little variety. Oh, I went higher? Well, I'm gonna go higher again. And then finally at the end, down. So she's even keeping that same motif of up, 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 and then at the end, down. Every time I sing in the name of love, I go down. So you get this familiarity throughout the song. This is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant melody writing. It's simple, it's absorbable, it's digestible. She delivers it with all the power in her body and not a note off. Just enough variety to keep it interesting, just enough commonality for you to know what's going on, for you to be able to learn it, but have a little fun with it too. The last thing we'll talk about is the use of the note D. Okay, this presents itself in a couple of interesting ways in the song. C major is the first chord, and then E minor, D major, there's the D. Well, there it is, Matt. What's so special about that? Nothing. In the instrumental refrain, hopefully YouTube won't kick me out, but somewhere here, okay, I don't know if your ears picked up on it, but I'm nerdy like that. And so what's going on is you have C major as before. Hey, there's D. What's D doing in my C major? Look at that. What is that? 1, 2, 3 of C major. Okay, so we get this. So this D is interesting for two reasons. Number one, it's the middle chord of the progression. Number two, it shows up in these instrumental breakdowns out of nowhere. What it represents is in the key of C, it's actually known as the 9. Because in C major, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it represents this beautiful 9th chord, sometimes known as a sus2, sometimes known as a 9. I'm calling it a 9. But at the same time, you'll notice that in the squeaky sort of pitched vocals, it's... There's D again. So while there's C major down here, we already have D. And then here in E minor, what does it represent here? It represents the flat 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this D is interesting. It provides something of, which I think I spoke about before, something like a pedal tone. You hear it in the Chainsmokers track that we looked at. Concept is, some notes just sound good everywhere. Find them, and use them everywhere. But not in the same instrument all the time. Find a home for it in another instrument. I'm doing a session with my man Harry down in Australia. Props to you, my brother. And we're going through one of his songs, and we're finding that he has all this mineable material in his track, and we're taking melodies from a vocal sample, taking it out, flipping it around, doing all kinds of crazy things to it, and having it show up in strings and piano and synths. And it fills out the whole song in a beautiful way, or there's a lot of self-similarity. There are a bunch of tricks to that, and I encourage you to reach out on your song. Maybe there's a way we can do some mining there. This is the way Martin Garrix does it in his song. How are you doing it in yours? I don't know. But I will tell you that you can tell me, and you can find out. I have invited you all to come email me in the past, and now I invite you all to not only email me, but you can book time with me if you like. And people are doing that, and it's super cool, and people are getting a lot out of it, and I love teaching this way. Videos are great. You can't ask me a question on video. But you can now. If you go to pyramind.com/mentorship, you can book time, and you can fire up your song. We can reach in, extract all the nuggets of love, spread them out throughout the track, and see what we can do for you. Pyramind.com/mentorship. I hope to see some of you there. Love to rip into your songs and pull out every piece of genius we can. Until then, everybody, I will find you something else that's gorgeous to break down and share with you. Until then, my name is Matt Donner from Pyramind. Thank you very much. I will see you soon.
If you're a music producer, subscribe to our channel and stay up to date on the latest Pyramind tutorial videos, track breakdowns, elite sessions, and more. Visit us at pyramind.com.
If I told you we could bathe in all the lights, would you rise